everybody. Welcome to the Marvelous Podcast. It's me, Kirsten, and we are going to chat today. Actually, we're not going to chat. I'm going to chat with someone. I'm going to post this episode because this is an interview I did about a year ago, maybe less, maybe more. I'm not really exactly sure. With a really darling friend of mine. Her name's Kate Call. You may follow her on Instagram. Her name's Late with Kate over there. And it's pretty much a giggle fest, but it's so good. And there was so many like aha moments that came from this episode when I initially recorded it with Kate. And I thought, since I closed the Kirsten Tyrell podcast and I'm just kind of migrating some of that over here, I'm only focusing on this one show, two if you count the one with my husband, but I'm only focusing my content and my ideas and my guests and everything here on one place. So I figured you guys may have missed this episode if you never went and subscribed to the Kirsten Tyrell podcast. So if I mention things throughout the podcast, I haven't re-listened to the entire thing. I listened to the first big chunk of it. So if I mention anything about it being the Kirsten Tyrell podcast, don't be confused. You're on the Marvelous Podcast. You're in the right place. But this is a great interview, and I can't wait for you to listen. Once you get through all the giggles and the fun that we're having, there's some really, really great value dropped in this episode. So listen in and enjoy, and I'll see you guys next week. We can't keep missing these golden nuggets that need to be recorded.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is the best. You're getting my best self right now. You turn that recording on and I'm going to turn into like snooze fest.
You better not. I'm counting on you to be the most entertaining guest of this whole podcast.
I don't know. I'm sweating right now. There's a lot of pressure.
Oh, no pressure. No pressure. It's the funnest thing ever. You're going to love it.
Yeah, no. I honestly don't feel pressure, especially talking to you. It's going to be good.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited. We'll just dive in since we're recording anyway.
Let's do this.
I started an episode once with a friend and she was like, I was like, are you ready? And she's like, well, no, but I was like, well, I'm leaving that in there. And I'm pretty sure that I did.
Absolutely. Are you ever really ready for an interview? Like, what's coming?
No.
This is exactly why I never did pageants, because I didn't want to be on stage and be asked a question like, no way. I have nothing. I got nothing. I have no musical talent. I can't sing and I can't answer your questions. So just give me the prize and let me walk off.
Just let me do some improv comedy and I win.
See?
That's all you got to do.
Was that a thing back then? Yeah.
I think it was starting. You kind of missed your calling. If you had been able to do, it now without kids and stuff, I mean, you could do it with kids, but yeah, you right. Kind of came right at the cusp of when that became a thing to be really cool.
There's always Mrs. Utah. Right? Am I too old for Mrs. Utah? Do they require
would
talent?
You please?
I mean,
you have so many,
sign
though.
Me up.
I will endorse you if you need a recommendation.
Please will you be the sponsor for me, Kirsten?
Send me a pen. Send me a pen right now.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, welcome to the podcast, you guys. I'm joined by a really amazing guest. I don't even know where this is going to start because I feel like from the minute we said hello, can you hear me? It's like been fun. And it's just how it is when you and I are together. And I'm pretty sure when you're with any other human being on the planet, because you're the funniest person and you're just so real and so relatable. So to everybody else listening, this is my really good friend, Kate
my gosh,
Call.
you
might know
you're
her
hyping
as...
this up way too much. You're hyping this up way too much. You've been way too much pressure.
This is my job. This is my job. This is don't just sit down, okay? Just sit down.
All right. I'm in my massage chair. Let's do this.
This is Kate Call of Late with Kate, and I feel like we should appropriately be doing this at like midnight, and then things would really be fun,
that's
right?
That's when the nuttiness comes out. It's true. Like midday, I'm still mom. After hours, all cards off the table.
Which is when I got to know you for real. Was when no kids were around.
Let's not even talk about that conversation. Let's not. You'd lose so many viewers.
We won't go there here. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I feel like I'd gain. I feel like people would pay money to hear the story that we're exchanged.
True. Who doesn't want to hear about
they would.
Horrible wedding nights? Like,
no. I would literally, I feel like if it wasn't inappropriate, I would love to be a fly on the wall for all of those experiences because it's just the awkwardness is so...
do not want to be on a fly on the wall on our wedding night. I can tell you that right now.
I mean, I feel like I got to be, though, hearing the stories.
You did, absolutely. And for anybody wanting to hear it, just tune in later for the after hour show.
Yeah, just wait for it. It's probably going to happen someday.
Seriously.
Okay, so Kate, you have you just have, I don't even know how to summarize what you have over on Instagram and what you've just really built as far as community. I say fun and just entertainment and realness. And it's what we're going to talk about on this episode is really the evolution of Late with Kate and how it became Late with Kate and what it started out as.
Oh,
but
boy.
I just want to commend you for creating a space where everybody feels welcome. I love that your followers, you even hate calling them followers because it's like
Right.
they're your friends, right?
Yeah, I mean,
it's your people.
No, it really is. Like followers to me, I really never call them my followers. Like I just feel like it really is because when I meet them, I know a lot of people say when they meet their followers, their quote unquote followers, they say, "Oh my gosh, I feel like I know you," but really, like they do know me because I've given them way too much of me. so I feel like if they're nutty enough to follow along and stay on this crazy train, like I know them too, you know? We all come from the same crazy town. Yeah.
You're like the epitome of that phrase where you like, you know, when you meet a friend and you're just like, oh my gosh, no way. I never thought anybody would have ever experienced something like that I was totally alone. You kind of created this space where everybody is like, I thought that was only me, down to bodily odor, down to...
oh gosh. So I have branded
really.
myself with that one.
You have.
Seriously. I feel like I'm like, come on guys. I've said a lot of funny stuff. Why do I have to be branded as beef? But it's fine. It's fine.
I mean, I can't lie and say I don't think of you every time I get some frozen beef out of the freezer. So
oh my gosh.
I don't know.
See? I know.
Long live.
It's good. And that's kind of what I've wanted to create is this place of vulnerability, right? I mean, I'm an open book and I feel like I am really comfortable talking about uncomfortable things. And so when you talk about uncomfortable things and you are vulnerable, that's when connection happens. Like that's when you're like, oh, totally. Like I've been there. Or I will be there. I will smell like beef eventually. You know, probably at some point in your life. So there's just like this instant connection, and that's what I've tried to create is just like just that vulnerability because we all are vulnerable. It's just a matter of if we'll open up or not. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay, so let's rewind a little bit since if you guys are tuning in, shame on you if you don't follow her, but I will forgive you quickly if you hurry and go do because there's so much you need to catch up on as far as Kate's content. Just go watch all her highlights and then come back to this and you'll be like, oh my gosh, this is so fantastic.
But in the same breath, you haven't missed much. I mean, right? Really?
No, that's not true. No.
Oh, you're the best.
It's like finding a Netflix show that you're like, I get to binge on this, and you guys will sit there for hours and you'll be searching the hashtags. What else can I find from Kate
you're
Call?
So cute.
I'm not being generous. This is true stuff that actually happens.
You're the best.
So
I'll do this podcast
the
once a week.
You're so
this is
funny.
really good for my confidence. You have a slot every week for me?
You're welcome.
Let's do this.
I do. Yeah, I do. Yeah. Although I'm going to just tell you guys, this taken how long to have I known you to get you? A year? It's taken a year. So I don't really have confidence in our weekly slots.
No, I have a few commitment issues. It's fine. It's fine.
It's totally
but we're here.
Fine.
We're focusing on the present. And here we are. Yes.
Well, and I love it. And I love that you're making your podcast debut on this podcast of all places. So thank you for that.
Oh, you're the best. No, I'm actually so flattered that you had me on. So I'm happy to be here.
Let's tell everybody your backstory, starting with as far back as you want to go, where I kind of wanted to hear about all the way back to Ivory Kate. But if it goes further back than that, you can go there. But just kind of give us kind of your background and your story on how you became Late with Kate and what you're doing now.
Okay. Let's see. So yeah, it did. It started with Ivory Kate, and I was Ivory K on Instagram because Ivory Kate was already taken. So I messaged the girl that had Ivory Kate handle. And I was like, I messaged her like 20 times. I'm like, can I buy your handle from you? Because I wanted my business on there. She never wrote me back. She probably thought I was some psycho. Anyway, so I went with Ivory K. And that was basically a business that I started when my husband was in law school. We had no money. And I just needed a creative outlet. I just had Ivory, my second little girl. And I loved being a mom, but I hope this doesn't sound bad, but I didn't feel 100% fulfilled, right? I mean, I felt like I needed some kind of outlet. And so
you're not alone in that. People get that. They do. And it's nothing to feel bad about because you're still a human being with multiple interests.
Right, exactly. And I feel like once you have kids, it kind of gets tainted like, oh no, this is my job. This is what I've always wanted to do. And it is, but it's not the only thing that you can do. Yeah. And
Yeah.
there is time for both. I really believe that. And especially now that I'm, 5 years into it, there's absolutely time for both. And it's good to
Mm-hmm.
have your kids see you do both, right?
Yes, agreed.
Anyway, so when Jeremy was in law school, I started making headbands, and I found an old leather skirt, and it was when leather baby shoes were like becoming a huge thing. So
Mm-hmm.
I cut up that leather skirt and made like 6 pair of baby shoes, and I just posted them
Oh my
on
gosh.
this made up Instagram account. And I'm like, I don't knock knock. Is anybody out there? Like, I don't know if anybody's listening or caring. And there was like 6 people that reached out and they wanted to buy these leather baby shoes that I made out of a skirt that I had for 5 years. My mind was blown. So I'm like, oh my gosh, if they'll buy these, I can sell anything. I can sell anything. So I
It's
just
the first
started
taste,
creating,
right? Your first dollar. You're like,
right,
oh my gosh,
right?
the sky
No.
is the limit.
I mean, what else can I cut up? I literally would dream all night. I'm like, what can I do? Because I was in California where I had a lot of access to leather goods. So I'm like, what else can I do with leather? Can I put like a leather pocket on a t-shirt? It was ridiculous. Like the stuff that I was coming up with
Oh
when I came back.
man.
Anyway, so I started this baby company where it really took off with my wire headbands. I would put wire inside a fabric piece, and when you put them around your head, you could twist the wire and they'd stay on your head without them slipping off or without them hurting your head. So kind
Oh.
of it felt super revolutionary to me, and
Yeah.
that's when my business kind of took off with Ivory Kate. People loved these wire wraps. So they took over my life for the next couple of years. I was sewing them. Jeremy was turning them inside out. I was handwriting all of my packages. You know how people like
Oh
use
man.
printing labels? I didn't even know what a shipping label was. I'm like, oh, you just handwrite those, right? Cute. Do a little
That
heart
hurts my
by their
heart.
name. Right. No, it was good though. It was good for me because from the beginning
Yeah.
it was great. So that's how Ivory Kate began. And then it just turned into, I mean, more people wanted shoes, more people wanted wire headbands. So I outsourced it and had manufacturers making my shoes. And it became kind of a full functioning business. And I loved it because it was bringing in money. I know that sounds so
Mm-hmm.
bad, but it'll come to where I went with Late with Kate. So
No,
it
but
was
like
bringing
you don't
it.
even need to apologize for that. Like I hate that that's instantly where we start going when we have success, because why are you even working in the first place? It's not a shameful thing. And I know you know this now, but
Right.
there's probably a lot of people who are in that phase of their business where they're like, "Oh, I feel bad that I'm really motivated by the money." The money has to
No,
motivate you until other things do. It's
you
just
are
like
spot on right there.
science.
That's exactly what it was. And so it was so exciting for me because I was creating these things with my own hands and with my own mind, and then getting
Mm-hmm.
it big enough where I could use manufacturers. It was amazing to see. Right.
Yeah.
And I feel like once Jeremy got done with law school and he was actually making money, and so the necessity for me to make money kind of, it wasn't quite there, as it once was.
Mm-hmm.
Like the necessity wasn't there. And so I feel like the passion wasn't really there because I initially started this business for the money, not really for the
Mm-hmm.
passion. Does that make sense?
Yep. Totally.
On my Instagram feed, I had to make everything look really, really pretty. Everything had to look really like it flowed, and I would be staging pictures and having people take pictures for me, and my family always had to feel like they looked perfect for the pictures. It was a lot of stress, and it was kind of
Mm-hmm.
not really me.
Yeah.
I'm not a staged person. It took a lot of effort for me to do that. So
Sounds
really this is
horrible.
where no, no, I wasn't natural at it. Like I see all these bloggers and they look so natural and beautiful, and it seems so seamless for them, and that's not how it was on the back end for me. I just felt like so
Mm-hmm.
stressed about it. So that's where I decided to do Late with Kate. I just had my third baby, and so the whole name with Late with Kate was I was up all night feeding my baby Sienna. And I'm like, I'm just going to start this account. And it was private at first. I'm just going to start this account. I'm going to post whatever I want to post. All
Mm-hmm.
like the good, bad, the ugly, whatever, just to make myself laugh in the middle of the night. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I just started posting just random stuff. And I had so many people requesting to follow me and people who had told other people about me that wanted to follow me. So I made it public. And then I just started posting more and more, and it had such a great response. And it was such a pivotal time for me because I'm like, oh my gosh, they like me for me. I don't, not for this pretty Instagram feed or this pretty picture, or, you know,
Yeah.
I don't have to be this box for them to like me. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
they want me for me. So I think it was just this eye-opening. I can run a business, but I can be myself too. So I kind of played two parts for a long time.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna make this pretty Instagram feed, but I'm also gonna be myself. Until it came to the point where I'm like, you know what? I don't know if this is my passion at all to run this Ivory K business. I've lost passion
Mm-hmm.
for it. The money doesn't seem near as, enticing as it once did. Like my true joy and passion comes from just being a complete moron on Instagram and having people like relate to it. And I would get messages I would get messages from people all over. They're like, "Oh my gosh, I was sick," or "I've been going through a really hard time," or
Oh,
"I just got divorced," or "I'm in the hospital and I was reading your post and it made me smile." And I was like, "Yes,
oh,
this is what I'm made for." You know what I mean?
yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that just took over. And so I literally just dropped. I sold my last shipment of shoes, every shoe, and I didn't post on Ivory K for a year and a half. Literally went cold turkey on it, which sounds insane
Wow.
looking back. But I didn't feel one bit of remorse for it because I was so fulfilled, with
Yeah.
this other account and what I was doing. And I don't know, I just found like my true passion, I guess. Sounds so cheesy.
Well,
We're getting
isn't
deep.
that no, we're getting, can you go deeper, please? Can you, I need you to cry.
Oh, I'm about to. This is just the beginning. You're going to be in tears by the end of this.
I don't doubt that for myself because I'm a crier and I love
Oh, me
dreams.
too.
I love dreams coming true. And I
Oh,
love when people achieve
me
their goals
too.
without even knowing. It's just so inspiring to me. But I love Disneyland for that reason. It's just a reminder that something big can come from something small. And what I really love and what I want to talk to people every single day on this podcast about is how people want to have the exact plan before they even get started. And I think I told you this. The
Yes.
funny thing is, I started 3 years ago. I started the podcast, my first podcast, and I also started a boutique called Felicity Kate. And because that was my daughter's name. And I didn't have to fight for the Instagram name, I don't think, but
Oh,
whatever.
us Mormon moms naming our businesses after our kids. It's like a classic stamp. There
I
you go.
mean, there you go.
You
Here's your
have been
business
initiated
license.
in. Totally.
Exactly. Oh
Oh,
my
it's so
gosh.
true.
There's
Anyway,
no way on any planet I would want to be doing that boutique anymore, but it was just to get my feet wet and like start thinking in a different way and start providing value in some way and like learning. It was like business school via Instagram 101, you know? And now
right.
I still don't really fully know what I'm doing on Instagram. I'm working on it, but I never would have, it wouldn't have propelled into other aspects if I hadn't just started with something. So I think it's
Right.
inspiring to hear how it was essential at the time and it served its purpose at the time. It paid the bills, but it was really building up to a much bigger thing that made the greater impact. And you can't always know what that's going to look like. In fact, most times I don't know of anybody who really does know what their small goal or what seemingly at the time was a big goal turns into an even way bigger thing. So I think it's amazing. I think it's great you found your
Oh,
true calling.
well, thank you so much. And you're exactly right. I had no idea that that it would turn into what it's turned into, right? This amazing community.